forgotten how excitable you are. You're making much too much a fuss about this.
Am I?
Yes, you are, Blanche. I know how it must have seemed to you, and I'm awful sorry it had to happen. But it wasn't anything as serious as you seem to take it. In the first place, when men are drinking and playing poker, anything can happen. It's always a powder keg. He didn't know what he was doing. He was as good as a lamb when I came back, and he's really, really very ashamed of himself.
And that makes it all right.
No, it isn't all right for anybody to make such a terrible row, but people do sometimes. Stanley's always smashed things. Why, on our wedding night, as soon as we came in here, he snatched off one of my slippers and rushed about the place, smashing one of the light bulbs with it.
He did what?
He smashed all the light bulbs with the heel of my slipper.
And you let him? You didn't run? You didn't scream?
I was sort of thrilled by it. Eunice, and you had breakfast?
Do you suppose I wanted any breakfast?
There's some coffee left on the stove.
You're so matter of fact about it, Stella.
What other can I be? He's taken the radio to get it fixed. It didn't land on the pavement, so only one tube was smashed.
And you are standing there smiling.
What do you want me to do?
Pull yourself together and face this.
What are they, in your opinion?
In my opinion, you're married to a madman. No! Yes, you are. Your fix is worse than mine is, only you're not being sensible about it. I'm going to do something, get hold of myself, and make a new life.
Yes.
Yeah, but you've given in, and that isn't right. You're not old. You can get out.
I'm not in anything I want to get out of.
What, Stella?
I said I am not in anything that I have a desire to get out of. Look at the mess in this room. All those empty bottles. They went through 2 cases last night. He promised this morning that he was going to quit having these poker parties, but you know how long such a promise is going to keep. Oh well, it's his pleasure. Like mine is movies and bridge. People have got to tolerate each other's habits, I guess. Scene 4, Stella is the one that participates in illusion rather than Blanche. Stella convinces herself that Stanley's behavior is excused since he was drunk, and that it was him at his worst, so it was alright. While Blanche is incredulous that Stanley's behavior is tolerated, and that Stella isn't taking a stand against that wife-beater.
Listen to me. I have an idea of some kind. Do you remember Shep Huntley? Of course you remember Shep Huntley. I went out with him in college and I wore his pin for a while. Well, I ran into him last winter. You know I went to Miami during the Christmas holidays.
No.
Well, I did. I took the trip as an investment, thinking I'd meet someone with $1 million. Well, did you? Yes! I ran into Shep Huntley, ran onto him in the Biscayne Boulevard on Christmas Eve, about dusk. Getting into his car, Cadillac convertible, must have been a block long.
I should think it would have been inconvenient in traffic.
Why, hello there. In this dashing part of Scene 4, readers are first introduced to the illusion that is vital to Blanche. In response to the traumatic situation of Stanley beating Stella, Blanche turns to fantasy for coping. To deal with tension and distress, Blanche creates delusional happiness, such as her relationship with Shep Huntley. She uses these delusions to survive.
She was. You didn't know Blanche as a girl. Nobody was tender and trusting as she was. But people like you abused her and forced her to change. Do you think you're going bowling now?
Sure.
You're not going bowling. Why'd you do this to her?
I have nothing to no one. Let go of my shirt. You've torn it.
I want to know why. Tell me why.
When we first met, me and you thought I was common. How right you was, baby. I was common as dirt. You showed me the snapshot of the place with the column. I pulled you down off them columns and how you loved it. Having them colored lights going, and wasn't we happy together? Wasn't it all okay till she showed you here? And wasn't we happy together? Wasn't it all okay till she showed up here? Hoity-toity, describing me as an ape. Hey, what is it, Stella?
Take me to the hospital.
Oh, hi again. Here Stanley is shown also being one to create illusion. Stanley creates and influences Stella with illusion to get his way. He tries to appeal to Stella that he is the best thing for her, and their life really is good. This is meant to feed to Stella's illusion that everything is okay. Stanley wants to be in control and have Stella wrapped around his finger, so he creates deception in her life. How about taking a swim? A moonlight swim at the old rock quarry. If anyone's sober enough to drive a car. Ha ha! Best way in the world to stop your head buzzing. Only you've got to be careful to dive where the deep pool is. If you hit the bottom, you won't come up till tomorrow. How's my sister?
She's doing okay.
And how was the baby?
A baby won't come before morning, so they told me to go home and get a little shut-eye.
Does that mean we just have to be alone here?
Yep, just me and you, Blanche. Unless you got somebody hid under the bed, or what have you got all those fine feathers for?
Oh, that's right. You left before my wire came.
You got a wire.
I received a telegram from an old admirer of mine.
Anything good?
I think so. An invitation.
Invitation to what? A fireman's ball?
A cruise of the Caribbean on a yacht.
Well. What do you know?
I've never been so surprised in my life.
I guess not.
It came like a bolt from the blue.
Who did you say it was from?
An old beau of mine.
The one that gave you the white fox pieces?
Mr. Shep Huntley. I wore his ATO pin my last year at college. I hadn't seen him again till last Christmas. I ran into him on Biscayne Boulevard. Then just now, this wire invited me to a cruise in the Caribbean. The problem is, I tore into my trunk to see what I have suitable for the topics. Hey, in scene 10, Blanche is at her worst as she lies compulsively, as she is engrossed in the illusion that she has been invited on a cruise by a millionaire, Shep Huntley. However, while she's explaining this to Stanley, he's not fooled in the slightest, but instead assaults her with questions against her elaborate lies. Yes, swine! Swine! And I'm thinking not only of you, but of your friend Mr. Mitchell. He came here to see me tonight. He dared me to come here in his work clothes and to repeat slander to me. Vicious stories he had gotten from you. I gave him his walking papers.
You did, huh?
But he came back, and he returned to me with a box of roses to beg my forgiveness. He implored my forgiveness. But some things are not forgivable. Deliberate cruelty is not forgivable. It's one of those unforgivable things, in my opinion. And it is the one thing which I have never been guilty. And so I said to him, thank you. But it was foolish of me to think that we could ever adapt ourselves to each other. Our ways of life are too different. Our attitudes and backgrounds, incompatible. We have to be realistic about such things. So farewell, my friend, but let there be no hard feelings.
Was this before or after the telegram came from the Texas oil millionaire?
What telegram? No! No after. As a matter of fact, the wire came just as...
As a matter of fact, there was no wire at all.
Oh!
There is no millionaire. And Mitch didn't come back with roses because I know where he is.
Oh!
There isn't a goddamn thing but imagination.
Oh!
And lies and conceit and trick.
Oh!
Look at yourself. You take a look at yourself in that wrong, wore-out Mardi Gras outfit, rented for 50 cents from some rag picker, and with the crazy crown on, what queen do you think you are?
Oh, God!
I've been on to you from the start. Not once did you pull any wool over the boy's eyes. You come in here and sprinkle the place with powder and spray perfume and cover the light bulb with a paper lantern, and lo, and behold, the place that is turned into Egypt, and you are the queen of the Nile, sitting on your throne and swilling down my liquor. I say, ha ha! Do you hear me? Ha ha ha!
Don't come in here. Greetings. This excerpt shows an instance in which the illusions created by Blanche cause conflict within the plot. In response to Mitch's denial, Blanche again creates an illusion so she won't have to face the many tragedies that have plagued her life and can instead fantasize about happiness. Stanley establishes himself as the refuter of Blanche's lies, being the one to confront her about them. This clashing of forced reality from Stanley against Blanche's fantasy brings conflict because of all the deceit Blanche's lies have caused.